kind of kingmaker, right?
Well, yeah, I was very close to Erap.
So how did you help him win the presidency?
No, beats me, no?
You agree. You said you helped.
I did help.
Oh.
Well, for instance, I handled these finances.
Ah.
Did I get myself into trouble?
Campaign finance.
Campaign finances, yeah.
Kamukha mo ba daddy mo?
Parang lately, I'm losing my hair. It's starting to happen.
From the pressure of the job?
No, I think it's just genetics.
The issue also, I guess, against mining early on was these were IP land, you know. There were...
Sure.
So, has that hampered you in any way at all?
Not all our mines are in IP areas, but if there is an IP area, we go through the process. So I don't think it has hampered us, but it does take time to develop the trust with the IPs and to come up with a MOA. And once we've done that, it becomes very smooth. So in Rio Tubo, for example, we have a contract with the indigenous peoples there, and there hasn't been a problem.
Masaya sila.
After I think
sila.
so. After the signing of the contract, it's not a big problem anymore.
And you think, kasi you can just follow the law to the letter, right? But is the law fair?
The IP.
Yeah.
I think the law is fair. I think there are improvements in terms of the processing times that can be made. But I think the law is fair because the indigenous peoples really deserve to share in the benefits.
Well, Arab's kind of kingmaker, right?
Well, yeah, I was very close to Erap.
So you advised him?
Oh, yes.
Sumusunod naman.
Well, hindi sa mga babae.
At saka, well, the story that was oft repeated when he fell from power was hindi kasi nakinig sa inyo nung bandang huli. Pinagsasabihan nyo na at hindi nakinig. May ganun ba talagang pangyayari?
Well, no, not. I can't claim to be the conscience of. Sobra naman yun.
Oh, pero didn't you feel responsible kasi? I mean, in a way, because you had helped him
Yes.
to the presidency.
Yeah.
Paano nga? Sige, pakisabi.
Paano?
Paano niyo tinulungan? Nag-contribute kayo sa kampanya, di ba?
Yeah, not enough to merit a seat at the table, for example.
You didn't have what? You didn't?
Wala akong pera at that time eh.
Okay. Okay, but, so, wala ka bang pera at that time? You were already big.
Well,
1998.
people probably feel that I was big, but I don't know. I maybe had this knack of giving off this air of being big, when in reality I had nothing.
So how did you help him win the presidency?
Now beats me, no?
You agree. You said you helped.
I did help.
Oh.
Well, for instance, I handled these finances.
Ah.
Did I get myself into trouble?
Campaign finances.
Campaign finances, yeah.
Oh,
Every centavo that came out of Erap's campaign passed through me. And he, plus everyone around him, concluded that I had no sticky fingers. In other words, the money was
well accounted for.
well accounted for.
They trusted you.
They did. So I had complete sway over what was
Where to spend
where
what.
to spend it, and no one. I was not accountable for to anyone, including Erap himself.
See, that they should have given you the seat at the table.
Yeah, I did have a seat at the table.
I don't know when you're serious or joking. Eh? But then the friendship soured, right?
No, my friendship with him never soured.
Your political opponents, at least the family, you know, Ronnie's son is ran against the children of Erap, the wife. I mean, di ba? Zamora versus Estrada nang nangyari, ito, sa San Juan.
Well, yes, but it's not involved our generation. In fact, Erap keeps telling me, "Oy, hindi tayo kasama dyan sa away na yan."
Okay. So you're still very, very good friends.
From his own words, yes.
Did it also come na, you wanted to help who might become a good leader for the country? Was that a factor in any of these flirtations with politics?
Of course, it comes with the territory that you believe, you get yourself to believe that you have this power to influence the course of future events, which also involves picking out possible successors. And in the case of Ping Lacson, it's easy to believe
Right.
that considering how terribly honest he is, that he would be a likely successor.
Right. Then it did not succeed.
Because Ping doesn't have the ability to court the right kind of supporters to.
You mean the right kind of supporters within his core group, or do you mean to court the public?
It's an all-pervasive support that I'm thinking. A lot of detractors have gone to work since he became a known personality in the public sphere, where all sorts of negative publicity have been generated by his enemies.
Okay, Erap, campaign funds, handling the finances, si Ping, up to marketing, up to branding.
Siyempre, you get into this small group where you're almost involved in everything. Eh?
Must have been fascinating for you, no?
Yeah, it's like it's like playing a chess game where you're looking at everything and you have your queen, your powerful queen, and you're out protecting your king.
After Ping, did you ever think or nasunog na kayo? I mean, you didn't want to do what you were doing, supporting politicians, supporting who you think would be a good leader for the country?
Well, at that time, nobody came courting.
You mean
Just-
courting your support?
Yeah, just faded into the anonymity that I prized.
Pero sa kapatid nyo, hindi kayo tumutulong.
Hindi, wala namang strategy si, he has so many advantages. For example, lahat ng kalaban niya, automatic na tanga na yung mga taong yan eh. So, malaking advantage yung bobo yung mga kalaban mo.
Can we go back to the time when you were perceived as a Marcos crony?
Well, that's one, maybe this is one opportunity to
To address it.
address it.
Yes.
Because I was never a Marcos crony with all its connotations and everything, because I never knew them.
You never knew that?
I never knew them personally,
But there is this story, and it has been written about, that Security Bank was used by Marcos then to hide some wealth or transfer some money. There was a connection with, that was, I think, the basis for the story going around that you were a Marcos crony.
Well, I guess that's the genesis of those talks. But there was some Marcos assets in Security Bank at that time, which were handled by PCGG, this government agency, first run by
Salong.
Senator Salonga. But they investigated it. First of all, I had no connection with those companies that were used to purchase some shares in Security Bank. And in fact, at that time, when they wanted to stabilize the ownership of a Security Bank, because of the fact that it was identified as a crony bank.
No?
Yeah.
Parang,
It was under siege,
right, right.
and only a slight push would have brought it into bankruptcy. So I, together with the government, devised a way where I could buy some of these suspect shares and become the majority owner of Security Bank.
With the full agreement of the PCGG.
Yes.
So that perhaps was the start of that perception.
They were confessed as being owned by some companies that were identified as owned by Mr. J.Y. Campos, who was subsequently identified as having fronted by for President Marcos.
He surrendered.
He surrendered,
He
yeah.
surrendered a lot of properties
Yes.
and assets.
Yes.
So, maling reporting lang. Parang kulang yung storya noon.
Well, it was easy to identify me as a crony because my younger brother, Ronnie, was known to be close to President Marcos. Although no one has identified my brother as having participated in any of the activities that led to this whole culture of cronyism and
Right, you were branded, no? And you never, well, because you never addressed it too.
in fact, that's a mistake that to this day, I probably will rue of not answering anything.
Why didn't you?
It was my instinct that in those poisoned times that anything you said could be immediate, could be
Misconstrued.
and misinterpreted. A bank run was imminent at the time. In fact, the government was practically forced to
Rescue it.
using
You. Oh, di smart move yon.
on their part.
On your part too.
Well, for the of course people would say, sino ba ito? Why is he now allowed to buy into a bank? No.
Yeah. The government was put into a situation where they had no moves to make. Right? And then, I mean, it could have led to even more loss of faith in the banking sector. You were again in the right place at the right time. What was the toughest time?
Starting the job. I think self-knowledge is very important.
At what point in a person's life does he really get to know himself?
I don't think it's an age thing. I think it happens when you have problems in life and when you have challenges and you're forced to think hard about yourself. No? So, you know, that when the going gets tough, that's when you really know who you are.
What was the toughest time?
Starting the job, I became CEO on January 1, 2020, and COVID was starting. So that's an example of, you know, probably the worst or the best time to.
Depends on how you look.
Depends on how you look at it. No? How do you keep people together? How do you assure them that the company is running? How do you assure the community and the local government officials? We kept running, and it became one of our best years ever in terms of mining volume and profit. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it didn't go down during COVID?
No, it was a very good year in 2020 because it also coincided with Indonesia banning nickel ore exports. So the prices in the Philippines went up. So we were able to capitalize on that and do it safely and keep people employed. We paid bonuses that year. The last meeting we had before the lockdown, one of the last meetings, I instructed the Mancom to start adopting a virtual system. No? So we're using a system like you're aware of, mga Zoom, etc. So we already practiced that. So when the lockdown came, we were already up and running. That's my strength is anticipating. I think I'm just very open to challenging myself. So even if it's scary or something that I'm not good at, I'm willing to try. No.
You're a risk taker.
So, yes, and then at the same time I manage my downside. Yeah.
Like a good investment bank.
Exactly. Exactly. I'll give you another example of a life-changing. I was a very shy kid growing up. Then I joined the Kundirana.
Oh,
Where
singer ka pala.
Yeah, retired na. Performing in front of thousands and thousands of people really helped me get out of my shell. For me, maybe my most life-changing experience. Then we had a director who I really respect, who was very strict. So there I appreciated the importance of somebody who gives you feedback.
Kahit na masakit.
Masakit talaga.
Wala ka sa tono!
He would get really, really mad at us. Like shout at the top of his voice, his lungs. I learned from it. So I really appreciate mentoring and honesty.
So what are your passions? What do you like doing?
I'm passionate about golf. I'm a pretty good golfer. I am passionate about running. I run a few marathons. I'm passionate about health in general. I'm passionate about my family, my kids, my My wife, of course, who is hopefully watching this.
What do you admire most in your father?
The care for people, the humility, and very important for him is the long-term perspective. So he never thinks in 1 year or 3-year terms. It's always in 10, 20-year terms.
Your son was saying, Dennis was saying, that when growing up, I mean, you already your mining business, but you impressed upon you didn't want them to think that they were privileged. You had no clue.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, it's probably an unconscious belief on my part that it was not proper to flaunt whatever you had. So I guess that's where it comes from.
So, not because you wanted your children to be, normal, not. It was really more, want them to be very low key. I think that's you, no? Parang if you could be invisible or something. Just behind the scenes plotting.
Plotting would be a good...
Did you aspire to be in government, for instance? Because your father had served many presidents.
I don't remember having any kind of aspiration.
Why did you take up law?
Because I couldn't stand math. No, it's true.
Tapos napunta kayo sa negosyo na puro math.
Yeah, it's all been a series of chamba.
So you think you're a lucky guy?
Oh, in spades.
So ano lang ang abilidad na pwede niyong ipagmalaki?
Well, I guess some basic intelligence.
But you also placed high in the bar.
Well, compared to his number 1 in the bar, and
Number 3 ka lang.
number 3, and chamba.
Hindi naman yun pwedeng matahin.
Well, chamba nga eh.
What would you consider your legacy?
It's a good thing to be known as having developed a good company, which is known for its good works, and which has developed a core of professional people. That's all.
Manny Zamora may have been an accidental miner, but the metal tycoon certainly knows how to cherish his most important treasures: the mining communities they support and the people that they employ. Because for Manny and Dennis, nothing is more precious than the opportunity to make a difference. Wealth, they say, is a byproduct of success. And as often heard and read, the perpetual building blocks of fortune are indeed a pioneering mindset.
We're a prime mover in so many places. When we opened the mall in Bacolod, we were the first and only mall for a long time before the other national players came in. We like to be a prime mover. We want to be a first mover.
If you have it, you have it. And if you don't have it, no business school is going to teach you how to create.
Ikaw yung dapat na mag-influence o magbigay ng turo sa viewer. Rather, yung viewer ang magbibigay sa'yo kung ano yung dapat mong gawin.
I want to give them also the best that they really truly deserve. The homes based on what they could afford. It was an eye-opener for me because I thought that with the reception I was getting from it, it's something I could replicate for other towns.
Humility.
If you don't really work for it, you don't try, you don't really make an effort to prove yourself, I guess in that aspect, especially to my father, you're really a nobody.
I'm not
Wala akong
afraid
alam,
to
yeah.
ask stupid questions.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to say, I don't understand. Can you explain it again?
Yeah.
Ganun ako.
Okay.
So I guess, yung being like that, I don't know, you call it naive, or people call it stupid. But for me, it's parang you humble yourself.
Yeah. Hard work and resilience.
I have a schedule. I have a schedule that includes everything, including time to attend mass, time to pray my rosary, time to study, time to work, time to spend time with my family. I went to watch Netflix. No,
Talaga?
Everything has to be within the schedule. You have to have discipline.
I place it in my mind that there's always a time for everything. There's a time to enjoy, there's a time to study, which you will need later in the future.
I think first and foremost, be calm, you know, because you know, and you had to focus on what needed to be done to get past the situation, no? The difficult situation, and really use that time to put your plans together on what you would have to do, what you will have to do to get yourself out of this hole.
There's no overnight success. Even my mom, di kayo yaman in one night. Yeah, it's really, there's no overnight success. So you really have to work hard for it. You really, there's really a lot of patience.
And the discipline to save and grow your money.
I don't understand what we call the three basic law matters, that we need to save, magtatabi ka, you need to invest, and you need to reinvest it.
Take it from these billionaires as we move on to Usapang Bilyonaryo Season 2. Ako po si Ces Orenia Drilon. Marami pong salamat sa inyong panonood sa Usapang Bilyonaryo. Watch the full-length producer's cut on Bilyonaryo Digital on YouTube and on Bilyonaryo's Facebook page.